From the clubhouse terrace, a golf course looks like one of the most peaceful businesses a person could own. Hundreds of acres of green land, golfers paying to walk the same 18 holes every day. Membership dues arriving before the season even begins. Weddings in the clubhouse, drinks at the bar, golf carts rented by the hour. And unlike a factory or a restaurant, the product appears to grow out of the ground. But that picture leaves out the part that determines whether the owner becomes wealthy or quietly goes broke. The grass never takes a day off. Before sunrise, crews are already mowing greens, repairing bunkers, checking irrigation lines, moving tee markers, treating disease, and preparing a property large enough to swallow an entire neighborhood. Rain can erase a fully booked Saturday. Drought can multiply the water bill. One failed irrigation system can demand millions of dollars before the next golfer reaches the first tee. So how much does it really cost to own a golf course? Where does the money come from? Why can a busy course still lose money? And why do some owners willingly operate the golf business at a thin margin while the land beneath it becomes more valuable every year? To answer that, we first need to understand what a golf course owner is actually buying. The words golf course describe several businesses that may look similar from the parking lot, but behave very differently on a financial statement. The first is the municipal course. A city or county owns the land and operates the facility as a public amenity. Its goal may be to cover costs, but maximizing profit is not always the priority. If the course loses money, taxpayers may indirectly support it because the community values recreation, tourism, open space, or the property values surrounding the course. The second is the daily fee public course. Anyone can reserve a tee time, and the owner earns most of the money one round at a time. This is the closest version to a hotel. Every morning begins with a fixed amount of inventory, and every unused tee time disappears forever when the day ends. The third is the semi-private club. It sells memberships for recurring income but still opens unused tee times to the public. This model tries to combine predictable dues with the higher volume of daily fee play. The fourth is the private country club. Golf may be the centerpiece, but members are also buying exclusivity, status, dining, events, tennis, swimming, business connections, and a social community. A private club can charge initiation fees and annual dues that a public course could never justify. It also faces much higher service expectations. These are not interchangeable models. A municipal course charging $40 per round cannot maintain the same staffing, landscaping, and clubhouse experience as an elite private club collecting large initiation fees. A resort course may accept weak direct golf profits because the course helps fill hotel rooms. A real estate developer may build golf simply to sell expensive homes with fairway views. The first financial mistake is treating all golf courses as if they sell the same product. They do not. They may all sell 18 holes, but what the customer is actually buying can be access, convenience, tourism, status, community, or real estate. An 18-hole regulation course with a practice facility will often require roughly 175 to 250 acres of usable land. That needs to include the course itself, a driving range, a putting green, maintenance buildings, a clubhouse, roads, and parking. 200 acres in a rural market may be affordable. 200 acres near a wealthy and growing city may be worth more as housing, offices, or industrial property than as a golf course. That creates the first paradox of golf ownership. The best location for customer demand is often the worst location for land cost. If you buy cheap land far away from population centers, you save on acquisition but may struggle to fill the tee sheet. If you buy close to affluent customers, the land may become so expensive that golf cannot generate a reasonable return on the purchase price. Then comes the choice between buying an existing course and building a new one. Buying an existing course appears easier. The holes are already shaped, the clubhouse exists, the irrigation lines are underground, and golfers may already recognize the name. But an existing course can hide decades of deferred capital spending. The greens may be reaching the end of their useful life. The drainage may have been designed for a different climate. The clubhouse roof may need replacement. The cart fleet may be leased at unfavorable rates. The irrigation system may still work today while quietly approaching a failure that will cost millions tomorrow. Building from scratch removes some of that inherited risk, but it introduces another collection of problems. You need market studies, environmental approvals, zoning, architects, engineers, earth moving, drainage, irrigation, turf establishment, roads, maintenance facilities, a clubhouse, a cart barn, equipment, and months of grow-in before the course is ready for normal play. During that period, the project consumes cash without producing meaningful revenue. And the owner is not building a field. The owner is building a carefully engineered outdoor machine. The fairways must drain after heavy rain. The greens must remain firm but alive. Water must travel across hundreds of acres at controlled pressure. Sand bunkers must release water instead of becoming ponds. Every hole must be safe, playable, and visually attractive while fitting inside the same piece of land. By the time the first paying golfer arrives, millions may already be buried where no customer will ever see them. The most important machinery on a golf course is often invisible. An irrigation network for an 18-hole course can contain well over 1,000 sprinkler heads, miles of underground pipe, pumps, valves, control systems, and electrical wiring. Industry examples place a full modern irrigation replacement in the range of several $1 million, with regional labor and material costs pushing some projects even higher. And irrigation is only half the underground story. Drainage carries excess water away. A course with poor drainage does not merely look wet. It loses revenue because carts may be restricted, holes may close, maintenance equipment may damage soft turf, and customers may choose a competitor with better conditions. Then there are the greens. A putting green is not simply short grass. Modern greens are constructed in layers, combining selected root zone material, gravel, drainage, and carefully chosen turf. They are maintained at extremely low mowing heights that make the plants vulnerable to heat, disease, traffic, and small errors. Replacing greens can require closing part or all of the course. The owner pays for construction while also losing the tee time revenue that the closed holes would have produced. The same pattern applies to bunkers, cart paths, bridges, ponds, maintenance buildings, and the clubhouse. According to a 2025 industry survey, the average capital budget for an 18-hole course had risen to roughly $303,000 per year. But averages hide the painful years. A new irrigation project averaged more than $1.5 million among surveyed projects. Rebuilding greens averaged close to $591,000. A new maintenance facility averaged more than $919,000. These are not ordinary operating bills. They arrive in large blocks. A course can look profitable for several years because the owner postpones capital work. Then the irrigation system, greens, roof, cart paths, and maintenance equipment all reach the end of their lives at roughly the same time. The profit was not necessarily real. Part of it was a bill that had not arrived yet. Now we reach the expense that surprises almost everyone outside the industry: routine maintenance. The Golf Course Superintendents Association of America reported that the nationwide average maintenance budget for an 18-hole course was almost $1 million in 2023, excluding capital expenditures. Private facilities averaged more than $1.4 million. Daily fee courses averaged less, at roughly $683,000, but the exact number changes dramatically by region, climate, service level, and customer expectations. For the average facility in that survey, maintenance represented approximately 23% of gross revenue. Nearly 60% of the maintenance budget went to labor. That labor begins before the golfers arrive. Greens may be mowed daily during the growing season. Cups are moved, bunkers are raked, tee surfaces are repaired, fallen branches are removed. Irrigation breaks are located and fixed. Grass is fertilized and protected against insects and disease. The superintendent coordinating this operation is not simply a landscaper. The job combines agronomy, weather forecasting, water management, budgeting, equipment planning, construction, and people management. In 2025, the reported average salary for a golf course superintendent reached more than $121,000. Then come the machines: greens mowers, fairway mowers, rough mowers, utility vehicles, aerators, sprayers, bunker rakes, tractors, and specialized attachments form a fleet that must be purchased, leased, fueled, repaired, and eventually replaced. Water adds another layer. Not every course buys irrigation water directly, but among the facilities that did in the 2023 survey, the average expenditure was more than $107,000. In the Southwest, the regional average was far higher. Even courses with wells or ponds do not receive free irrigation. Pumps require electricity, pipes leak, control systems fail, water rights and environmental restrictions can limit supply. Drought makes every decision more expensive. This means a golf course spends money before it knows how many customers will arrive. The grass must be maintained whether the tee sheet is full or empty. That is why maintenance behaves more like a fixed cost than a simple cost of each round sold. A restaurant can order less food during a slow week. A golf course cannot stop caring for the greens because reservations are weak. The primary revenue engine of a public golf course is the tee sheet. Courses divide the day into starting times, often spaced approximately 8 to 12 minutes apart. Each starting time usually accommodates up to 4 players. Imagine a course offering 1 tee time every 10 minutes for 10 playable hours. That creates 60 starting times, or a theoretical maximum of 240 player slots. At an average realized price of $60, a completely full day would generate $14,400 in green fee revenue before carts, food, merchandise, or lessons. But theoretical capacity is not real capacity. Some golfers play alone or in pairs. Early and late times are harder to sell. Weather interrupts play. Daylight changes with the season. Slow play reduces the number of groups the course can handle comfortably. Customers prefer Saturday morning, not Tuesday afternoon. This creates the same inventory problem faced by airlines and hotels. A vacant seat on yesterday's flight cannot be sold today. An empty hotel room from last night is gone forever, and an unused tee time at 10:20 on Saturday morning disappears the moment the clock passes 10:20. That is why courses use dynamic pricing. Morning tee times can command premium rates. Twilight rounds sell for less because golfers may not finish 18 holes. Weekends cost more than weekdays. Peak tourist seasons cost more than hot, cold, or rainy periods. The goal is not simply to charge the highest price. The goal is to maximize the value of an expiring inventory without training customers to wait for discounts. Public financial filings provide a useful, real-world example. Aureus Greenway Holdings operates 2 public courses in Florida. In 2025, its listed tee time prices ranged from roughly $25 for late afternoon play to approximately $75 for premium morning times at one of its courses. Across the company, daily green fees produced roughly 64% of 2025 revenue. Annual membership dues contributed about 10%. That tells us something important. For a public course, rounds matter enormously. But green fees alone rarely create the strongest business. The owner needs to earn more money from each golfer after the reservation is made. A well-run golf property contains several businesses layered on top of the course. First are golf carts. Cart fees can be included in the green fee or charged separately. Once a cart fleet is acquired or leased, every additional rental produces high incremental revenue, although batteries, maintenance, storage, and replacement still matter. Second is the driving range. Range balls turn a small area of land into repeatable inventory. The same balls can be collected, cleaned, and sold again. A golfer may visit the range without purchasing an 18-hole round, bringing revenue to the property at times when the main course has limited space. Third is instruction. Lessons, clinics, junior programs, club fitting, and group instruction use the credibility and physical setting of the course to sell higher-value services. Fourth is the pro shop. Golf balls, gloves, apparel, shoes, clubs, and accessories produce retail revenue. The margins are not magical, and unsold inventory can become a problem, but convenience allows the course to capture purchases golfers would otherwise make elsewhere. Fifth is food and beverage. A golfer may spend 4 hours on the course and another hour in the clubhouse. Breakfast, drinks, snacks, lunch, and the bar convert time on the property into additional spending. At RAS Greenway's 2 Florida courses, food and beverage sales generated approximately $649,000 in 2024, while merchandise added about $115,000. Those figures were meaningful beside total company revenue of approximately $3.3 million. Sixth is events. Corporate outings can fill a large block of tee times on a weekday. Tournaments generate entry fees, food sales, sponsorship opportunities, and repeat business. A clubhouse with the right kitchen and event space can host weddings, banquets, holiday parties, meetings, and charity functions. That last category can completely change the economics. A wedding does not care how difficult the 8th hole is. A corporate meeting does not require perfect putting surfaces. These customers monetize the buildings, views, kitchen, parking, and location rather than the golf itself. The strongest operators understand that they do not own one business. They own a sports facility, restaurant, event venue, retail shop, instruction business, and large real estate asset sharing the same address. Private clubs shift the revenue model away from daily transactions and toward recurring access. Members may pay an initiation fee when joining, monthly or annual dues, food and beverage minimums, cart charges, locker fees, and assessments for major renovations. This creates predictable revenue, but it also changes the owner's obligations. A public golfer who dislikes the course can simply book somewhere else next weekend. A private member who has paid a significant initiation fee believes the club should respond to complaints, maintain consistent conditions, improve amenities, and preserve the social value of membership. Private clubs therefore spend more. The 2023 Industry Maintenance Survey showed private 18-hole facilities averaging roughly twice the maintenance spending of daily fee facilities. That difference reflects the level of conditioning and service members expect. The private model works best when there is a waiting list, strong retention, affluent local demand, and an identity that competitors cannot easily reproduce. But membership can become fragile. If older members leave faster than younger members join, dues revenue weakens. If the club responds by raising fees, more members may leave. If it cuts maintenance, course conditions decline, weakening the reason to remain. This is the private club version of a downward spiral. On the other hand, a desirable club with limited membership can raise initiation fees, fund improvements through assessments, and create recurring cash flow before a single round is played. The difference is not the number of holes. It is the strength of the community surrounding them. Consider the audited numbers from Aureus Greenway Holdings. The company owns 2 public golf properties in Florida covering more than 289 acres. In 2024, it reported approximately $3.3 million in revenue. About $2.14 million came from one-time green fees. Membership dues added approximately $304,000. Food and beverage contributed about $649,000. Merchandise and ancillary services provided the remainder. The courses recorded approximately 56,000 rounds at an average price of about $38. That sounds like a functioning business because it was. Golfers arrived, food was sold, and millions of dollars entered the company. But golf operating costs were approximately $1.37 million before many corporate and administrative expenses. The company finished 2024 with a net loss of roughly $184,000. Then 2025 showed how sensitive the model could be. One course closed for several months while its greens were renovated. Total reported rounds fell, the average price per round slipped slightly, and annual revenue declined by about 10% to approximately $2.96 million. The company's total 2025 loss was influenced by broader corporate costs and should not be blamed on course operations alone. But the operating lesson is still clear. When a major course renovation removes tee time inventory, the owner pays twice. First, for the construction, then for the rounds, food, merchandise, and events that cannot be sold during the closure. And weather can create the same effect without improving the property. The company reported that above-average rain during its busiest quarter placed revenue under pressure. The fixed expenses remained. The lost Saturday did not return. Now let us build an illustrative financial model for one established public course. These are not industry averages or a promise of performance. They are a simplified example showing how the economics move. Assume you buy a well-located 18-hole course for $10 million. You invest $3 million of your own money and finance the remaining $7 million over 20 years at an interest rate around 7.5%. Annual debt service is roughly $686,000. In a normal year, the course sells 35,000 rounds at an average realized green fee of $62. Green fee revenue? Approximately $2.17 million. Memberships and annual passes, $400,000. Carts and the driving range, $550,000. Food, beverages, and events, $800,000. Merchandise, instruction, and other services, $250,000. Total revenue, approximately $4.17 million. Now the costs. Course maintenance, $800,000. Clubhouse, golf operations, and administrative payroll, $850,000. Food, beverage, and merchandise costs, $350,000. Utilities, insurance, property taxes, and permits, $450,000. Equipment leases and repairs, $250,000. Marketing, booking systems, accounting, and general administration, $250,000. Annual capital reserve, $300,000. Total before debt service, approximately $3.25 million. That leaves $920,000 before debt. After approximately $686,000 in loan payments, the property produces around $234,000 in cash before income tax and any unexpected major repair. You invested $3 million to earn less than 8% in the normal scenario, while managing a business that depends on weather, discretionary spending, labor, and living grass. Now the great year. The weather cooperates. The course sells 42,000 rounds at a higher average rate. Events are strong. Food and beverage spending increases. Revenue climbs by roughly $850,000, while variable costs rise by only $150,000. Cash flow can approach $900,000. That is the version that makes ownership look brilliant. Now the bad year. Heavy rain eliminates several peak weekends. Rounds fall to 30,000. Food and event revenue declines. A section of the irrigation system fails, creating a $300,000 unplanned project. Most payroll and maintenance costs remain because the course still needs to survive. The same property can lose more than $500,000 in cash. The distance between the great year and the bad year is well over $1 million, and the owner does not control the weather. If golf operations can be this demanding, why own the course at all? Because the operating statement is not always the whole investment. The property may include hundreds of acres near a growing population center. Homes beside the fairways may become more valuable. The clubhouse may develop into a serious event business. A resort may use golf to sell rooms. A private club may use initiation fees and assessments to fund improvements. An experienced operator may buy a neglected course, improve pricing and conditions, and spread management costs across several properties. And in some cases, the course protects land until another use becomes financially or legally possible. That does not mean every golf course is secretly a real estate fortune. Zoning, open space restrictions, environmental rules, community agreements, and political opposition can prevent redevelopment. Land that appears valuable on a map may remain locked into golf for decades. But it explains why two owners can look at the same course and see completely different businesses. One sees green fees, another sees memberships and events, another sees hotel demand, and another sees 200 acres in the path of a growing city. So can owning a golf course make you wealthy? Yes, but rarely, because the grass simply produces money. The successful owner controls acquisition cost, protects cash reserves, fills expiring tee times, earns from customers beyond the green fee, and prepares for large capital projects years before they arrive. The unsuccessful owner looks at a crowded first tee and assumes the course must be profitable. From the clubhouse terrace, the business still looks peaceful, but underneath that landscape is a machine made of labor, water, time, hospitality, debt, and land. The golf brings people through the gate. Managing everything around the golf is what determines whether the owner wins.